You guys like those leggings? Check it out. Look how shredded I got. Anyway, what's going on YouTube? Josh here checking in. Welcome back to the comeback episode number 6. We're here in the home gym. It's Sunday. It's the afternoon, around 3:45, and I'm gonna get a quick leg workout in. The date is gonna be right here because I don't know what day it is. I've been working nights. So anyway, lately I've been working in the children's emergency department, and as you can guess, all those snotty-nosed kids, it's no good for your immune system. So I got myself a little bit under the weather. Actually, I don't really get sick very often, and for the past 3 days that before I started working nights again, I was pretty under the weather, coughing, runny nose, headache, sore throat, fevers, in bed, weak, feeling like I'm gonna faint. So needless to say, I did not train. Now, if you wanna know my take on training when you're sick, the gist is, if you're good enough to go into work, you're good enough to train. That's the short of it. It doesn't need to be super complicated. If you're gonna call out from work because you're so sick, well, you probably shouldn't train. If you're gonna sack up and go to work, well, then maybe you should get in a training session, do something light, something like that. That's the short answer on training when you're sick. Now, for me, I actually had 3 days off in a row, just where my schedule worked out, and unfortunately for me, I was sick. So I have not trained in several days since basically earlier on in the week, and I missed basically 2 lower body sessions. And so what I'm gonna do in this training session is I'm gonna combine sort of my squat and my deadlift day. I'm gonna try and get a little bit of both as opposed to just kind of starting over and kind of delaying my cycle. So, you know, you need to be flexible with your training, and that's something, for me, it's a lot easier because I am my own coach and I am able to kind of figure out what I need and be flexible when things like this arise. So, you know, if you encounter the situation, you have a coach, this is a good opportunity to reach out and say, hey, what's the best way to handle this? Sometimes it's better to just follow the program and kind of push everything back. Sometimes it's better to just kind of mix it up and maybe combine 2 days into one. That way you don't mess up your whole schedule. So obviously that will be situational. Nonetheless, enough talking. I think you guys can probably tell in my voice, I'm still a little bit sick. I'm actually, for the first day, feeling somewhat okay, and I'm surprised that I haven't coughed once in this video. So anyway, let's roll the lifting footage. I'm sure at this point you would have seen some of the lower body lifting overlaid with this stuff. I just want to tell you guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching these videos. Please continue to support the channel. You can do that by simply giving this a like. You know, if you find any informative information on the channel, sharing that with your friends. Really appreciate that, guys. I don't make this channel to get extra income. I do this for you guys, the viewers, to answer your questions, to help you out. You know, YouTube is a great resource, and I hope that this isn't really designed to be entertainment so much as it is to be informative. I hope that I can kind of make it somewhat interesting and get you guys to watch this stuff, but this isn't an entertainment channel. It's really so that way there's little bits of knowledge that I'll drop here and there as I go along, and that's kind of why I'm doing this series. It's giving me an opportunity to kind of stay on track for myself and then also kind of give you guys some knowledge bombs. So anyway, enough talking. On to the lifting footage, and I apologize for this funny, sick voice. Alright guys, so this was actually one of those training sessions where I surprised myself. Despite being sick for the past several days going into this, and assuming that it was going to be a pretty rough training session, particularly since I was combining 2 lower body days and it was going to be a little bit harder than my traditional lower body training, I did actually very well. I was extremely surprised with how this went. So 385 is actually 20 pounds over what I was doing the previous week, yet it was feeling lighter than it was. So that is always a very good sign when you're adding weight and the bar is moving even better. A combination of, you know, of course I'm slowly honing in on my technique, working on the specific cues, and probably just being able to rest up and make things happen was really beneficial for me. So it kind of just goes to show that those times when, you know, maybe you're feeling like this is not going to be a good gym day, you kind of just need to go there and see what's going to happen, because it's not always going to be as shitty as you think it's going to be, and sometimes you may even surprise yourself. So regarding some technical stuff, what am I doing here? These are tempo front squats, and I don't do these on my regular days, but I was kind of mixing it up a little bit, combining my days and trying to figure out what would be beneficial for me. So regarding those tempo front squats that you saw before, the reason I do those is because a lot of people, including myself actually, have difficulty maintaining tightness in the hole. And part of that is just, I think that most people learn to back squat first. Most people feel much more comfortable with the back squat. You know, unless you're an Olympic weightlifter, even a lot of powerlifters who front squat often still don't feel as comfortable in that movement. And particularly if you're doing ass to grass front squats. And what you'll actually notice here, I think it was my last rep or my second to last rep, I actually lose some tightness in the hole, even though I'm doing this tempo squats. And let's see, it wasn't that one. I think it might be the next one coming up here. So just keep your eyes peeled. And there you go, right there. So you see I kind of lose that tightness and I kind of fall back a little bit. And that's kind of just me feeling out what is the true bottom of this movement, and just being aware of your body kind of in motion, right? Your proprioception, so to speak. So on to the low bar squat. These felt spectacular. So this was also an increase. I think this was up 15 or 20 pounds from my previous one. And, you know, one thing that I realized is that for my upper body session, which you probably saw earlier this week in episode number 5, the intensity is getting pretty high. But I noticed that, you know, I think I was probably being a little bit conservative with my weights, at least what I started off with for my lower body, just because that's how I ended up injuring my neck about, you know, at this point several months ago, and that's kind of what really threw a big wrench in my training. So I just didn't want to go at it too aggressively. At this point, I've been feeling great. I haven't had any kind of residual issues with my neck, and I've decided, you know, looking at basically the rate of my progression, if I continue at this very slow rate, by the time I'm going to be back lifting weights that I was lifting before, it's going to be the winter time, and I just don't have time for that. So what I've been doing is, as I'm able to, I'm sort of making a little bit more aggressive jumps with my linear progression on my lower body sessions. That way I can get back to my baseline strength and surpass that, you know, without taking the whole damn year to make that happen. So anyway, guys, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to give it a like. If you're not subscribing, hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys in episode 7.